Of course, there is no single reading method that will best suit a particular child. In other words, some reading methods will work better for some children more than others. We as educators may draw from a variety of approaches to teaching children to read. If you feel like the approach isn't working or you are concerned about the approach disadvantages, you are free to change it. The main goal is that the students become literate in foreign language. So let's discuss some methodological tips for teaching reading using both approaches. There is one very interesting concept that we never thought about while teaching EFL. It's print awareness. Print awareness is a child's earliest introduction to literacy. Most children become aware of print long before they enter school. They see print all around them, on signs and billboards, in alphabet books and storybooks, and in labels, magazines, newspapers. Print awareness is understanding that print is organized in a particular way. For example, knowing that print is read from left to right and from top to bottom. This is important. It is knowing that the meaning is conveyed through words. Words consist of letters and that spaces appear between words and that some words in print look longer because they have more letters than other words. It is that sentences start with capital letters and end with periods. Children also learn about the features of the book, authors and illustrators' names, book titles, tables of contents, page numbers, and so forth. They also learned about book handling, how to turn pages, how to find the top and bottom of the page, how to identify the front and back cover of the book. The next step that you as teacher should be aware of is the difference between phonological awareness and phonemic awareness. Phonological and phonemic awareness are often confused by teachers, and rightly so. Phonological awareness is a broad skill that includes identifying and manipulating units of foreign language, parts such as words, syllables, and onsets and rhymes. Children who have phonological awareness are able to do the tasks like counting words in the sentence. It's the simplest phonological awareness skill. They are able to count, segment, blend, and manipulate syllables, as well as identify first, last, and middle syllable. More complex skill is blending, onset, and rhyme, being able to identify and produce rhyming words. And as you can see, phonemic awareness is the most complex phonological awareness skill. So, phonemic awareness is the ability to hear and manipulate the sounds of phonemes in spoken words. It is also the understanding that spoken words and syllables are made up of sequences of speech sounds. All words are series of phonemes blended together. Phonemic awareness does not involve print. It is an auditory skill. For instance, a child without phonemic awareness may not hear that sun and sit both start with the same sound. They may not blend together sounds like is man. So, task number 1 is to teach the students how to pronounce sounds correct. Here you have the links to the videos where you will hear correct pronunciation that you should teach your kids. The English language has 26 letters, but 44 unique sounds, each with lots of different ways to spell them. A synthetic phonics approach will teach these 44 sounds from the simple to the more complicated logic. Especially, I would like you to pay attention later to teaching how to pronounce bossy R sounds, because a lot of teachers teach their students to pronounce IR like your, okay? And then we have the words like dirty, 30, not dirty, 30. That's why pay attention, please, to this, because no native speaker pronounces words like this, like learning or birthday or something like this, okay? So pay attention to native speakers' pronunciation. So if kids are phonemically aware, they can do the following things. They can isolate phonemes, they can blend phonemes, segment phonemes, manipulate phonemes, add and delete phonemes. What is phoneme isolation? Hearing and isolating the individual phonemes or sounds in spoken words represents the first layer of skillful phonemic awareness. Isolating phonemes entails knowing that the word is made up of a sequence of sounds and that the individual sounds in words can be differentiated from one another. For example, beginning sound isolation is simply pulling the first sound off of the spoken word. Students can isolate the first sound in words as in man, s in sock. Okay? What is phoneme blending? Phoneme blending, which is basically combining sounds, involves listening to and pulling together isolate phonemes to create words. This process requires a student to hold the individual elements in his or her mind as the word is created, thus challenging a student's active working memory. When beginning readers sound out a word, they use letter sound knowledge to say each sound in a word, like t, and then they blend the sounds quickly together to read the word rat. Phoneme segmenting is the ability to divide a spoken word into its component sounds or phonemes. In a segmentation activity, students are given a word like ship, and they say segment it or stretch the phonemes, sh, ip. As they are saying the sounds, they can extend a single finger for every phoneme that they hear, starting with the sound like sh, ip. Lastly, they blend the phonemes together and they bring their hands back to their chest and say the word, like ship. More advanced skills of phonemic awareness include phonemes addition, deletion, and substitution, all three of which are considered phoneme manipulation. Phoneme manipulation is generally more challenging than segmenting and blending phonemes. Manipulation requires students to hold phonemes in their working memories long enough to isolate specific phoneme, add, delete, or substitute, and then blend the phonemes back together to form a new word. So, phoneme addition involves adding phonemes to a given word to produce a new word, for example, starting with the phoneme d and adding to the word ice, to the end turns into dice. Okay? Conversely, starting with the word cart and deleting the final phoneme t creates the new word car. Phoneme substitution, the most advanced of all the manipulation skills on our pyramid, requires that the student knows how to both delete and add phonemes. In a phoneme substitution exercise, a student might be asked to drop the W sound in wag and replace it, for example, with T sound. So they do wag becomes tag. You know, it may seem easy, but when you try these activities with your students, you will see that not everyone can do this. This should be practiced. Letter of the Week curriculum was very popular in American elementary schools, but all the letters were supposed to be taught in 26 weeks. But research has proven that children learn letters and retain letter names much more quickly when the letters are not taught in isolation. That's why this curriculum is outdated now. You, as the managers of your lesson, decide how many letters to teach at the lesson or during the week. A good rule of thumb is to introduce 2 or 4 new letters per week. But this is just a guideline. The most important thing is to follow your child's lead as they show you what they are ready for. The best way out is to teach letter names and letter sounds together at the same time. There is no evidence to suggest that children do best when they learn letter sounds in isolation, or there is a good evidence that teaching letter names at the same time as letter sounds actually makes it easier for children to learn letter sounds. In English language, many letters make more than one sound, and some sounds are made by more than one letter. So it can be very confusing for a young learner to sort all this out. However, in a general rule of thumb, start by teaching the short vowel sounds before the long vowel sounds. The short vowel sounds are those like as in apple, as in egg, I as in igloo, O as in otter, and A as in umbrella. Children generally don't need to know the long vowel sounds until they have started reading instructions and have mastered simple CVC words. CVC means consonant, vowel, consonant, like map, cat, rat, man. As for the other letters, then that make more than one sound, teach the most common sound first. For example, if you are teaching letter G, first of all, teach sound G rather than G, okay? And for example, for letter S, teach first of all S rather than Z. Now I'm going to share some resources for teaching phonics that I use in my work, okay? So you've already seen the slide with videos how to pronounce English sounds correct. This is a YouTube channel called Super Simple ABC. When I teach letters and sounds to my students, I use these videos. The kids learn how to say sounds as well as they learn some new vocabulary. I designed some matching games using Learning Apps tool based on these videos. This is a link to my blog page to see how it works with my students. This is a series of videos demonstrating how to teach phonemic awareness skill like blending, adding, deleting sounds, etc. You may watch them here following this link. This Reading Mama suggests you a free pack with worksheets and activities for every letter. Here you can find ABC flashcards on food, adjectives, school things, and action verbs. Of course, when you explore the website, you will find more and more materials. From this website, I got practical ideas how to teach the letters in a fun way. Here you can see one of the ideas, but clicking on the activities title, you will read and see how can it be in a different way, even more interesting. Personally, I tried almost everything from this website in my classroom. From my experience, the best book to drill reading is Alpha Phonics book. It was created to provide parents, teachers, and tutors with a sensible, logical, easy-to-use system for teaching reading. This book teaches alphabetic system with its 26 letters and 44 sounds. It's the following sequence. First, the alphabet, then the short vowels and consonants, the consonant digraphs followed by the consonant blends, and finally the long vowels in the variety of spelling and the other vowels. The other very useful book for drilling reading patterns is the Remedial Reading Drills book. These drills are designed primarily to aid children who have become retarded in reading. Especially these exercises are helpful for the children with severe special reading disabilities. First of all, high-frequency words should not be taught as a separate category of words or to be memorized, but should be taught as part of phonic lessons. According to Fry in his book, How to Teach Reading, students should learn the first 100 words in their first year of school, the second 100 in the second year, and the third 100 in the third year. Divide the list into groups of 5 words to teach every day. You can adjust the number of words based on your student needs. Only a few words, approximately 10 to 15, should be taught before phonics instruction begins. The remaining high-frequency words should be incorporated into phonics lessons, either as fully decodable words or partially decodable words. We call them heart words, by heart, studied by heart. Allow every 10 minutes each day or lesson for direct instruction and practice with sight words. Actually, sight words instruction is an excellent supplement to phonics instruction. Phonics is a method to for learning to read in general, while sight words instruction increases a child's familiarity with the high-frequency words he will encounter most often. Practice them every day as much as you can with these steps. Sound letter mapping, flashcards practice, reinforce them with the games and activities. Engage students into reading books with sight words. What does it mean, sound letter mapping? Choose one of the 5 words, for example, you want to teach. Tell the students they will spell in the word. For example, sad. Invite them to repeat the word. Then ask, how many sounds do you hear in sad? Hold up one finger per sound as the student says the sound. S, A, D. Say the sounds with the students to help them identify individual sounds, okay? Then on the board, write in the sound boxes the letters or letters that correspond to each sound. 1 sound per box. Then read the word together. Students can write the letters on their handout, or you can give your students small manipulatives like coins or bingo clips. Have students move 1 manipulative into a box, okay, for each sound. Then, when it's time to write the corresponding letter or letters in the box, students can move manipulatives out of the way to write the letters. And repeat that sound letter mapping with each of the 5 sight words. Here you can see the example on YouTube how to do this, how to demonstrate this. The next is very useful step, practice the words with one of the flashcards activities. Constant time delay. Write 1 word on each card, okay? In round 1, show and read the words one at a time to your students. Then wait 3 seconds to give students time to look at each word, letters and patterns, then ask them to repeat the word. In round 2, shuffle the cards, show 1 card at a time, wait 3 seconds and then ask student again to read the word. If students read the word incorrectly or are not able to read it, point out a memorable feature. Wait 3 seconds and ask students to try the word again. Go through the stack of cards until students correctly identify each word, at least twice. Constant time delay for words with unusual spelling. Use this activity for word sets or word families that share a pattern but don't have typical letter sound combination like could, would, or should. You can use a resource like Finder, okay, to look for words based on letter patterns. Write all the words from a word set in a vertical column on a card. Then show students the card and ask them to identify how each word ends. After students respond correctly, point to and say each word on the card. Wait 3 seconds and then ask students to say the word. If you are practicing words from the different sets, be sure to write the different sets on different cards. Shuffle the cards and have students read through each word set again. Some teaching tip. If you are introducing these sight words activities for the first time, make sure to explicitly teach the activity and offer guided practice. If students are familiar with the activity, provide a quick model. Hang the words around the classroom. Keep the sight words inside, really inside. Certain words such as and, the, will be hard for children to miss, but calling attention to print that contains them is key, okay? You can create big posters of a word, talk about the letters it contains and spend time focusing on its meaning. You can reinforce with games. For example, game Kaboom. Write each of the sight words on a popsicle stick and place all the sticks in a container. Then write the word Kaboom on several blank popsicle sticks and place them in the container as well. Take turns pulling a popsicle stick out of the container and reading the words written on it. If you are correct, you get to keep the stick. If you are incorrect, place the stick back into the container. Continue taking turns, pulling popsicle sticks out and reading the word on it. If you pull out a stick that says kaboom, you must place all of your sticks back into the container. The person with the most popsicle sticks at the end wins the game. The other games are swap it, hop on it, model it, write it. All of these activities I've tried in my classroom with letters as well. Here you can see the link to observe these activities. A key component of learning sight words is to recognize them in context. Some children may be able to identify a sight words within a list of words or on flashcards, but when it comes up in a book, they have some troubles, okay? So children should be exposed to a variety of books at their current reading level and include sight words you have been practicing. Choosing just right books is very important. Use simple sight word books. Each book highlights one sight words and uses a predictable pattern. This makes it easy for students to read and experience success. This is very important when the students feel confident. Some book sets also include worksheets, so the students can practice using the words. Here you can find the strategies how to teach sight words. Here you will find a bundle of songs to teach sight words. This is another YouTube channel with great songs for teaching sight words and not only them. And the last point I'd like to talk about is fostering students' love for reading. Asking students to read books that are far too difficult can create frustration. To learn new words, practice word-solving strategies, and sight word recognition, children need experience reading books at their instructional level, not too hard and not too easy. Leveled readers are the books categorized into levels of difficulty, which is how a perfect match based on ability can be made. Okay? In American primary schools, you can see a small class library for independent reading in every classroom and a school library that contains these level books. By the way, in our new Ukrainian school, we also have independent reading, which is called Читання для себе, and guided reading, which is called кероване читання, but for Ukrainian language, not for English. But it would be cool to engage students and make them to be interested in reading English books. We don't have opportunities to supply our students with real books because it's costly, but we can download free books, print some copies, and organize a library. Here are the resources for free books. For example, set 1. Here are the books from This Reading Mama. Here are the books from The Badgered Mom. Another set of books from this site. Free sight word easy books from The Badgered Mom. And a great resource for level books online. By clicking on the book, you can see the information about the book. For example, the name, how many words, what level is it, what genre is it, and also using free trial account during 2 weeks, you can download PDF materials to use with your students. That's all about teaching reading from zero from me. All the resources are shared with you. Use them, enjoy your work, and teach like a pro. Thank you for your participation. I'm waiting for you in the next part of the course about assessment.